So I got the wheels off, the subframe out, and the subframes 1, 2, 3. Then there's a bracket for, there's 4 per side, 3 of the lower ball joint, the sway bar end link, and the steering outer tie rod end. And then inside here, you take the plastic cover off that covers this, and it's a 10mm bolt. You're gonna pull up on the steering rack. It has like a slider, and it slides over here. Like, you can't misalign it. And what I do to hold it, I use just a tie down. I don't know if you're gonna be able to see, but this piece moves up and down. It's a slider, and then there's a 10mm bolt that goes through it. And then this cover is what covers that. You just literally pull it up. It's just clips that hold it in. The subframe is out. Now I have to finish unbolting the transmission and separating the tranny from the motor. Oh, and I forgot the lower torque mount. You have to unbolt that in the exhaust bracket. And then there's 2 plugs for the steering rack that need to come undone. Before I put this back in, I want to clean it all up. That's pretty much what I'm at. I got 2 tranny bolts out. One of them, the exhaust, like you have to monkey around with it to get it out, but this is the frontmost lower one. I took this is a dust cover, they call it. It's got 2 10mm bolts at the bottom of the transmission. It goes right here. That's the dust shield. But like I said, I got this bolt out, but since the PRL downpipe's a little bit bigger, it doesn't just slide out like this one. I just got the trans on bolt, and then it should be able to come out. And that's pretty much it for right this minute. You're gonna have to support this side of the engine. What I normally do is take a block of wood and a jack and sit underneath of it so it holds up the engine, so it doesn't like drop when you undo the trans from it. And I still gotta get the axles, the half shaft, and this starter. Hold on, let me see if I can get the light. So pretty much I got axles, half shaft, starter, support the engine, and pretty much, yeah, that's it. And then unbolt the trans, and then it's ready to come out and take the old clutch off and put the new one on. So yeah, I'm gonna leave it at that. Transmission's out. I still haven't got the clutch and the flywheel off. I took a lunch break, but I'm gonna get that thing off. Get the trans all cleaned back up. Get that inside all cleaned up. And then I'm gonna get the FX 725 by Clutch Masters twin disc, all bolted up after I do some test fitting. Someone said that these things don't fit the Accord chassis, and I'm gonna prove them wrong because the bell housing and everything is the identical same to the Type R, which I have both. The only difference, that has oil coolers and the shifter weight's different, and then the gearing slightly different. That's the only difference between an Accord and Type R trans, and then these have an open diff. The FK8 have a LSD, which this has been opened up to put an LSD in. But yeah, I'm gonna leave it there. I'm gonna get this Exetti Stage 1 clutch off, and I'm gonna get it all cleaned up, all the clutch dust and stuff like that from over the time. And I'm gonna get the clutch masters mounted up here after a little bit of test fitting. I'm really gonna say I'm super surprised that this clutch held any more power. To be honest with you, it only ever gave me a problem at the track, and it shot. Like, this disc is no good at all. This is probably because doing a bunch of pulls from digs and, you know, drag racing, and then a lot of pulls on the highway and stuff. To be honest with you, this clutch took more abuse than it was rated for. And let me see if I can get it on. It's actually so low that it started breaking apart. That's a chunk of it. All in all, I think I put this clutch, it had like a 110, somewhere around there, 1,000 miles, and it has 160,000 on it now. This is a little bit more aggressive than the stock FK8. And it actually looks like a couple of the rivets have fell out also. I'm not too positive on that. I don't know if every hole had a rivet, but it looks like every couple of holes doesn't have one. But yeah, I'm surprised this clutch held any power. There is literally, these are like brake pads, and that little line in there, it's like there's nothing pretty much left. So yeah, this is why the clutch was slipping under heavy load at the track. The pressure plate does not look that bad, and the flywheel doesn't look that bad. Actually, I think these, like if I just ordered another insert, this setup would work again. You know, another disc, and just cleaned up get the surfaces redone, and then this thing would work great again. But I'm gonna move on to a twin disc, since that isn't meant for what I'm trying to do. So I'm gonna move to a twin. And I know that the service intervals will be even more, so I'll be tearing this all back apart even more often than, let's say, 50,000 miles. But I just wanted to share. It worked great. I mean, if you're not going to drag race, this clutch holds the power with zero problems. It actually held up to everything besides drag racing, even with it like that. So yeah, that's it for this one. I'll catch you in a few minutes. So I have the pilot bearing in, or the throwout bearing in, sorry. And it's in. No rubbing whatsoever. And if I pull the throwout bearing, it'll push the clutch right off. So that means everything's working perfectly fine. So the FX 725 twin disc will work on the Accord. So when putting these discs on, see where one side will say flywheel side, and you say C, and then you got your plate here, and then this side should say plate side, which will mean your pressure plate. So pretty much shouldn't be able to mess it up. When you start A, B side, C side, D side. Okay, a little update here. Clutch is in and wiring's back on, shifter cable's back on. I put the PCM just sitting there. I'm gonna put the starter half shaft axles back in and start getting this thing back together. So far, it seems to be fine. Before I completely wrap it up, I'll start the car up and go through the gears. I got a clutch stop that I'll be putting in, and I still have to tear this little bitch clip out to get there's a little plunger in here that I have to take out yet, but that's pretty much it for right now. I'm gonna go back together. Okay, starter back in, axles are in, subframe is in, and now I gotta button up the control arms, torque down the axle, hook up the tie rod ends and the sway bar links, and then start putting the top back together. And yeah, that's pretty much where I'm at. So subframe's back in and just buttoning everything up. Pretty much like 90% wrapped up. Everything underneath is together. I just have to put the charge pipes back in, the battery tray, battery intake, and hook up the wiring. And I still have yet to get this thing out here. That little clip right there to pull this plunger out. So yeah, that's pretty much where I'm at. The whole bottom's all wrapped up. The only thing left to do on this is I'm going to take my lug nuts off. I'm going to wire brush all this down. Put the wheels back on there. And then this side's all wrapped up too. I'm going to do the same thing over here. But I'm going to work on the top right now so I can get this thing done. Alright, catch you on the next one. Okay, now I just have to put trans fluid in, finish wrapping up the thing, the battery and stuff. Just everything up top here, throw the wheels back on it. I've already started and tried it. Clutch engages and disengages. It's all the way at the floor, so I don't really think I need a clutch stopper. And maybe when it gets broken or whatever. But right now it's almost, the pedal doesn't engage, or the clutch doesn't engage to the pedals all the way down to the floor. So I'm just going to leave it like that for now. I do have a clutch pedal stop. I'll probably have to modify it to work, but I'm going to put some trans fluid in here and get the wheels on it and then take it on its main voyage after I wrap all this stuff up. Wheels are all torqued down, everything's all back together. Strut bar, intake, plugs, everything's all back to go. Now it's time to take it on its maiden voyage to see how it acts. I don't think I'm really going to beat on it since the clutch is brand new. And I just want to make sure everything's good before I go beating on it. And something isn't right or whatever, then I can fix it. If there is anything, I doubt there is. I always double check all my work. But that's pretty much it. Clutchmasters FX725 twin disc is in. I didn't put the Clutchmaster in it this time. I'm just gonna wait. If the stock one decides to go, then I'll do it. Other than that, I'm just gonna leave it like it is and see what it does. All right, peace out. Thanks for watching. I hope you guys have a great evening or whatever, day, whatever time it is you're watching this. And I appreciate everyone watching. And Clutchmasters twin disc in the world's fastest stick shifted cord.